I was hoping today to give you an opportunity to put to rest the concerns that people have that there were federal agents or assets of the federal government present on January 5th and January 6th. Can you tell us, without talking about particular incidents or particular videos, how many agents or assets of the federal government were present on January 6th, whether they agitated to go into the Capitol, and if any of them did?
So I'm not going to violate this norm of the rule of law. I'm not going to comment on an investigation that's ongoing.
But look, it is kind of crazy that all these low-level protesters have been charged, as Glenn points out, with major felonies and held without bail, and many of the alleged, quote, plot leaders have thus far been shielded from charges. Maybe they'll get charged in the future.
Yeah.
But as they pointed out, this is actually a long-time tactic of confidential informants. Like you said, not necessarily agents, but confidential informants. So Does that mean that they were informants, as in they had contact with the FBI? Does that mean that they were explicitly directed by the FBI? All of that has yet to come out. So there's absolutely zero question around it. But I think that the money quote and what you said is true. It would be kind of crazy to think that the FBI doesn't have informants in any of these groups.
Yeah.
It would actually be counter to all of that. And that is where the media comes into play and just goes completely insane.
In fact, tomorrow, I don't even like to say it because I'll be arrested. Well, let's not say it. We need to go, I'll say it. All right. We need to go in to the Capitol. Let's go! So I'm going to put it out there. I'm probably going to go to jail for it, okay? Tomorrow, we need to go into the Capitol. Into the Capitol. Peacefully! Peacefully!
Chris Cuomo, when covering this, he goes, okay, let's talk about what is true and not true. Joining us now, former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe. Oh, so we're going to ask the former spook guy who was in charge of some of this stuff in order to weigh in on whether there were spooks embedded in January 6th. This is actually more of a media point than it is around the actual allegation itself. As to the allegation, I don't know. And listen, I'm staying tuned. Frankly, it would not shock me if any of this turned out to be true. But what I really think is ridiculous is how much, it's kind of like Laughably. If you float it, it has to be disproven, even if there's a kernel of truth. And to be fair, this is part of the problem. If Tucker and Revolver News are the only ones who are putting it out there, then it gives them the ammo to say this is a total right-wing conspiracy who want to do it. Look, the world screams for the average, normal investigative reporter to go out there with some decent FBI sources and ask them. There are people at the Washington Post. These people were your little Russiagate stenographers for 3 years. You can't go out there and maybe ask the question. This is more of a media story, in my opinion, than anything else. We could know tomorrow if the story was true or not. But the people who actually have the sources as to prove it true or false, they don't want to do so, which I also do think speaks volumes as to the allegation here.
Okay, folks, grab the word. As soon as the president's done speaking, we go to the Capitol. The Capitol's this direction. Start speaking. We are going to the Capitol, where our problems are. It's that direction. Please spread the word. Fed!